Do you think social media is regulated? There is so much information in these platforms, some harmless, some harmful. Let me tell you a story. One day, my little brother was scrolling on TikTok and saw a video where a person was telling their viewers that a re-upload of an infamous stream about the POV of a mass shooter in a supermarket was in a Twitter account they linked. And my little brother got too curious and hopped social media platforms and eventually found the video. He then showed it to me and I was in shock. Like, bro, why? Social media users have almost no control over what content they want to see. Instead, platforms use complex algorithms to serve content they think will keep users on their platform, often exposing them to more radical posts they may never have sought on their own. That is a problem because people might encounter content like the one in the story. And because of my brother's curiosity, he might get recommended more videos like that. Because that's social media companies are thinking like, oh wow, if that's what keeps him on the platform, we should give him some more. And that is not good. Another problem is that misinformation gets spread around a lot. Traditional news usually has editorial reviews before it gets published, but for user-generated content on social media that is being produced at a rapid rate, it is subject to much less credibility. That is obviously real though. Some alternatives to this problem could be 1. Government intervention. Congress could write laws that could create regulatory agencies and guide their actions. There could be enforcement mechanisms such as fines or other penalties. This will involve determining what kinds of actions are likely to deter social media companies from behaving in ways that deem harmful under the law. Number 2. Social media ranking regulation. There could be platforms being ranked according to their level of social risk. At the lower end could be modest online spaces, which could be subjected only to minimal regulation and remain largely immune from liability from the content they host. But at the other end of the scale, social media platforms that have the capacity to frame political agenda and shape the opinions and behaviors of millions of people need to be more heavily regulated. Now, it's finally time to talk about So here's the solutions. Implementing circuit breakers so newly viral content is temporarily stopped from spreading while it's fact-checked. Forcing social networks to disclose in the newsfeed why a specific piece of content is recommended to the user. Another solution is limiting the use of micro-targeted advertisements. Another one in the list is making it illegal to exclude people from content on the basis of race or religion, such as hiding a spare room advert from people of color. And finally, banning the use of so-called black patterns. Black patterns are user interfaces designed to confuse or frustrate the user, such as making it harder to delete your account. With these solutions, we will regulate social media without any censorship or losing time. And it is also a way of making social media more safer and more actually social. And now finally, how regulated do you want social media to be?
I don't know if there should really be a regulation on social media for everyone. More as I feel like maybe specific ages should have certain regulations, but like everybody under one regulation, I feel like that's too generalizing or whatever. I don't know the exact words, but yeah. You know what I mean?
I think social media should be somewhat regulated just so people don't see stuff that they shouldn't see, especially at a young age.
Well, I want it to be moderately regulated, so it's not too regulated, but it doesn't have too little regulation, because I believe that we should limit what kids under 18 should watch, and stuff like that.
I don't think social media should be heavily regulated. If anything, it should be up to the company's discretion. I really don't think that the government should be getting involved.
I think it should be like a medium level of kind of regulation because I don't think there should be too much like power into it or too little.
Not as much, but medium.
Low level regulation.
How should social media get regulated?
Companies should make their own standards for social media. So, for example, they shouldn't keep up videos that like show violence or encourage people to do things that are violent. But yeah, I think they already, for the most part, have teams that are set up to do that. So I think they should just continue what they're doing.
I think the company that like makes the apps and stuff regulate it because it's their company and yeah.
I think people reporting content is a good option, but also I don't think the government should be regulating social media because we know how the government is, and I feel like it really should be up to the company, but the company should have a diverse viewpoint on it and not just leave it to like the white man in charge.
I think people should regulate themselves rather than government or anyone trying to control them.
Well, I think that companies, for example, should put in policies in place so that they can regulate what people see. And also the governments could also try and do something where they themselves can actually regulate who's on it and who's not on social media itself, if they decide whether or not they want it.
And I think social media should get regulated by the government applying like a age limit, I guess, but actually putting more security to make sure that age is being followed. So it's not like a bunch of 12-year-olds are saying they're 13 just to see TikTok.
I don't know, maybe the government does something like talks to the companies or whatever and maybe sets some kind of hours so that they're not on it all day, something like that. I mean, I'm kind of against the regulation, but yeah.
I should tell you, I'm glad that I'm able to tell you all of this. And I'm also happy that you watched the entire video. Oh, thank you. Now let's go.